Go.
Hi, I'm Jo-Dee.
And I'm Graham, and we're back, as we said, we will be to talk about technology this week. And Jodie's been talking to some people in Woking to find out what they feel.
Yeah, there's lots of word out in the street and what they feel about computers, and it's Clean Up Your Computer Month. So we've got 3 tips for you on what you can do for your computer.
Later on in the show, we're going to be talking to Guy Clapperton, who's
a near futurist and a tech journalist and a podcaster. So we're looking forward to see what he's got to say for us.
Yeah, so hang around because it's really worth a listen.
Hi Ian, what do you think about technology?
Make you famous.
And Jack, what do you feel about technology?
It's okay. It's something I'm getting used to. Do I like it? I'm not too sure.
So Georgie, what do you think about people over 50 using technology, mobile phones, things like that?
They don't know how to.
They don't? Why?
Because they don't. They just don't know how to. Like my grandma says to me, "Oh, Georgie, you've messaged me on Facebook again, but just phone call me because I don't know how to message." So.
Doesn't she? So she can't find the messages on Facebook?
No.
Does she have a smartphone?
Yeah.
How old is she?
She is 68.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Does she ask you to help her with some stuff?
Yeah, and it's challenging because you tell her one thing and it goes out the other.
Is it hard for her to grasp? Yeah. How do you feel about technology?
Well, it's there, but it's to be used in a good way. I don't like technology so much because I value human interaction much more, and I think technology is gradually taking over, and that's what I don't like about it. So if I go to the supermarket, I will use the tills because I think people need a job, and to say hello to someone is different from a machine telling me what to do. I don't like that aspect of it. Having said that, I've always worked with technology, with computers when I was working.
Make you famous.
Anna, what do you do for a living?
I act and I model. I used to be a dancer. And these days acting and modelling.
And that's actually where we met. We used to dance together
27 years ago.
Whoa, okay. So tell me about what you think about technology.
Well, it's very useful when it works. I found myself recently in a position where I was asked if I could do a Skype audition. Complete Skype virgins. Oh yes, I said, because I thought I'd seen the app on my laptop. So, right, yes, quick lesson, how to Skype. It took quite a while to work out exactly what was going on. And I think the first call I tried to make, they could hear me, but they couldn't see me. Yeah. My laptop is completely weird. And when I press camera, it tells me that I get an error message. And it says that, can't find the camera. And I'm actually looking at it. I'm looking at this little lens, and sometimes there's a blue flashing light. So I know it's talking to something. And I did a Google search to try and find out what was wrong. And some person had posted an answer saying that if you partially close the lid of the laptop, the camera would start working. I thought, well, this cannot be true. And in disgust, I think, I started to close the lid of my laptop. Bang, there's the camera.
It worked.
Yeah. So that was my first Skype call.
Oh dear.
But I did think I got the job that time. So.
Oh well, that's good.
Yes.
And you use technology all the time now, don't you?
Yeah. So once I've come to grips with a particular new facet, it's okay most of the time. But then there's always the 10% of the time, I suppose, when suddenly it develops a mind of its own.
What do you feel about technology, Tony?
I pretty much hate the Big Brother issues, and everybody can see everything. And why do people have to blog? Haven't they got anything better to do?
Thanks, I'm just starting a blog.
We know there's blogs and there's blogs.
It is. Now tell me about using technology. Do you use any of it?
Very slowly. It's not like it was in the old days when you got a leaflet, little booklet that comes with your phones. Nowadays, you've got to go online. But if you've only got a phone, how can you go online to set up your phone? Because your phone's being used to try and work out how to set it up. So you can't follow anything.
Making him famous.
Well, that's great hearing what people have got to say, isn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely, really, really good. But then we've also found that over recent years, you used to talk to people, and now what do? You text them, and that drives me nuts.
Oh my gosh, social media is really the most unsocial thing we have.
Yeah, I was on the station a little while ago in the summer, and it was beautiful, beautiful sunny day. And I was looking around, listening to the birds and things like that, looking at the trees, enjoying the sunshine. I looked along the platform, and every single person was like this on their phone, just missing what was going on around them, and the beautiful, beautiful day. It's so frustrating.
Absolutely, I actually make a point of putting my phone down when I'm on a train or something, because it's so easy to be locked in your phone.
It is. I mean, they are useful for things like reading, so you can read a book or a magazine on the phone. You don't have to hump it all around and carry it in your briefcase, and there's less and less people carrying briefcases these days, but it is also pervasive. I mean, social media is one of the things that I find a little bit frustrating. I mean, I get emails and things from people saying, "Oh, X has just updated their status on Facebook." Well, why do I care that they're, now on holiday somewhere that I'd like to be?
You can actually change it in your notification. So if that's bothering you, Mr. IT man, just change your notification.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we want to talk about. So even though I am in IT, one of the things that is difficult about computing is all those little nuances and the way to use the technology. And in those instances, there's no reason not to go and read a book. Now, if you've got a computer already, you can go online, you can find a little search on your Safari or your Google or whatever you want to use to do that. And you can find the book for your device and try and use it. Now, there is no substitute for actually sitting down and reading things.
No.
But you'll find lots of hints and tips. I mean, my father, who's, he just bashes things, just taps them,
without
and
knowing.
hopes it's going to work. And before you know it, he's opened about 10 pages, and then the thing stops working because it's all filled up,
overloaded,
and it's all slowed right down, trying to do all these things that he's been prodding at. And, it is difficult for people.
I think they need
patience
patience as well, because I think what happens with people that are not used to technology, they push and they expect something to happen immediately, or actually they need to slow down and wait for it to happen. That's a good point too.
Yeah, it is. I think you find it funny. I just find it absolutely frustrating because I go around there and he say, "Oh, this isn't working, Graham," so I have to spend an hour or so trying to fix what he's actually unfixed that was working quite well beforehand. But it has got better. He has got a tablet now. He did have a PC, which was quite tricky to navigate and to fix, but he's now got a tablet, and actually tablets have done an awful lot for some of the older generation. But I think our surveys have found, talking to people, that there's a big difference out there. There's a lot of over 50s and over 60s are happy with tech.
Yeah, I think, and for me this is definitely true. It's that if you started when technology started to come in, when computers came in, and you followed it through, I think it's a lot easier. But if you left it, I think that's where it gets scary.
So, I mean, we talked to some other people. They don't like online banking. I think that's one of the things they're going to have to embrace eventually is online banking.
Definitely.
That's going to change.
I love it.
Yeah,
but people are worried about the security.
They're worried about security. They're worried about making a mistake as well, paying somebody £1,000 instead of 100. That's no different to writing a cheque in some ways.
Well, as long as you got the money in your bank account, my dear.
Yeah, if only. So those are some of the things. We're going to now show you the video with Guy, and he's got some different viewpoints, and then we'll come back and offer you a few tips for how to be a little bit safer in this next Clean Up Your Computer month.
Yeah.
One of the things you were asking about on Facebook was, of course, how over 50s cope with technology.
Yeah.
The answer to which is basically, fine, thanks. I think there's an awful lot out there. You see coverage from people, and I go to meetings with people, and they refer to the over 50s and how they, or I should say we, cope with technology. The answer is actually it's nothing to do with your age. It's all about attitude. My mother-in-law has a tablet that she very much likes using to catch up TV and for communicating with people. She uses it like I use mine. It's just, and she's not only over 50, I hope she won't mind me saying, she's over 70. As you would expect from a 54-year-old man with a mother-in-law. My auntie Doreen celebrated her 90th birthday a couple of weeks ago, years ago rather, and she has an Amazon Alexa, And she uses that not only as a speaker, but also one of the things she really likes is that in an emergency, she could use it. She just says, "Call my son." She hasn't had an emergency, but if she did have a fall and couldn't get up, she'd say, "Call my son." And it'll do so because he's linked it with his phone. So it's an extra safety thing, but it's not one of these awful, "You're very old, so here's a thing you can wear around your neck as a constant reminder." It's a fun speaker. And, you know, she can order things. She does all the stuff that Amazon stuff does. But she welcomes the technology because it could also be life-saving conceivably. Now, there's also people like a person with whom I run a book club, who I think is in her 20s, possibly early 30s, and will not touch social media because she's worried about how much information she would be sharing on it. The point I'm getting to is that there are various different attitudes about technology, about social media, that sort of thing. And it's really lazy thinking to bracket it all as if it was about age. I'm in my mid-50s. 10 years ago, I wrote one of the first books on social media for business in the UK. Alan Stevens was also very quickly off the block. He published one, I believe he was self-published. He went for it himself. But he's, as he said to you on Facebook, he's well into his 60s. It's not about age at all. And I wish this thing would, if people wanted one New Year resolution for 2020, it's stop writing people off because of age. Stop making assumptions about people based on their age. You can find a young person who's technophobic. You can find an old person who loves it. It's really not about that.
That's perfect. And for somebody that is worried about technology, what would you advise for them to do?
Well, if it worries you that much, it's not compulsory. We are moving towards a cashless society. If you've got, if you walk into Sainsbury's, you'll notice they no longer offer cash back on the way out. You know, whereas 2-3 years ago it was all, you know, do you want some cash back with that? Whereas they don't anymore. Some shops do, and that's fading away. We are moving away, so you won't be able to do without plastic for very long, and that's a real problem. If you, I mean, people won't be watching this video podcast.
Yeah, and you're a futurist, right? So have you got some place that we can catch up with you and see what's going on?
Yes, I thank you for mentioning that. I have a regular podcast. You say I'm a futurist. I mean, I'm not one of these people who does extensive research, but I have been a technology journalist for 30 years. So it's more of a commentary and particularly interview podcast that I do called The Near Futurist, and you can find it at nearfuturist.co.uk, all just as one word, Near Futurist. I focus on the next few years rather than some people do the next 30 years. One of the features of being a slightly senior and past 50 is I don't really care what offices are going to look like in 30 years' time. I don't intend to be in one.
True. Oh, no, that's great because it's good to actually keep up. And the more you read and feel comfortable, I think it'll help people that are a bit afraid to give it a try.
Yes, that was great to hear from Guy Clapperton with lots of points that he made about being over 50 and technology.
Yeah, some interesting insights. And now it's time to give you the 3 tips. The first one is reboot your computer. So often people use up their RAM.
What is RAM?
RAM is random access memory. So it's part of what the computer uses to keep things running smoothly. And so you have a seamless use of the computer. But one of the problems is that some programs that you might be using, like a bridge program or something that you like to use a lot, doesn't always manage your storage very well, and it will fill up that storage and you'll start to see your computer slow down and things won't work properly. There are various ways to fix that without turning your computer off, but the best way to do it is try and reboot your computer maybe once a month or something. So
and how do you reboot a computer?
Well, basically turn it off and turn it on again. So
that easy.
That easy. It'll clear down the RAM and you'll be back to hopefully a slightly faster running computer.
Okay.
The second one is the thing people are scared about is security of this computer. So you can do a lot to prevent that by buying a security package, making sure they normally contain antivirus. They'll look for things like phishing. Phishing is the way people try and get to your internet details so they can log onto your bank accounts and things like that. So having something like that, there's loads out there. Research them. I'm not going to recommend one because that would be unreasonable and you might buy the wrong one and then come chasing after me.
No, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. So buy yourself a good security package. The last thing I was going to talk about a little bit was the cloud. So a lot of people these days store an awful lot of stuff on their computers, their photographs, documents that they want, and you really need to put those somewhere safe. Now you can back up to a device. You can go and bound to your local Dixon store and you can buy a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte hard drive for probably less than £100. But the other thing you can do these days is to use what's called the cloud. Now the cloud is
What's the cloud?
It's the thing in the sky.
I know.
Effectively, it's a data storage that's been introduced by the likes of Amazon and Microsoft and people like that, and it gives you an awful lot of secure space to store photographs and other documents that you might want to. So I pay something like 75 pence a month for an extra bit of iCloud storage. That's specific to the iPhones and things. And I just copy my photographs over to that. What that also does is it backs it up to another location. So even if you lose that one location, it's there in another location. And you can access it from any device. So that's a good thing to look at.
Yeah, so if you lose your phone or something, you can just back up.
Yeah, exactly so. And one of the cheaper ways to buy this is at Microsoft Office. If you buy Microsoft Office, for example, about £7 a month, you'll always get the latest versions of Word and Excel.
Oh, that's good.
But you'll also, these days, if you buy Office 360, get 1 terabyte of storage. And that's a massive amount of storage.
Enough for all my videos?
All your videos will go up there. And
will they be safe, though?
They'll be safe.
Oh, good.
So, yes, I would look at doing that as well. So there's another way to sort of look after your data. But try and keep your files tidy. Try and delete things you don't need. I mean, I've got stuff on my computer going back to the 19... who knows what. But you just shouldn't keep it. Some of it's complete rubbish and eventually it fills up your computer.
I know, I'm terrible at that. I just do always downloading and then I never see, I don't put them in files like you do. You're really good at that.
Yeah, I don't want to see some of the videos you've got, but essentially... you can see the kind of videos she's got, can't you?
Yes, I'm so naughty.
So that if you've got any questions on any of those things, then give us a shout.
Yes.
Drop us a line and we'll try and reply next week. Or if there's anything you'd like to see in the videos, then let us know.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, maybe like the video, and share it, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye now. See you next week.
Bye.
To make you famous.